Hey, what's up, guys? This is Worse, and we're going to be reviewing Batman v Superman, just all three of us. This may turn out to be a little more of a discussion or whatever, but I don't know if that'll be for the spoilers video, but this is a no spoilers video.
No spoilers at all.
Just to let you know. And let's get into it.
We're joined by Kolyn.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Yeah, he's a first-time guest to review something with us. He's a big comic book nerd, we had to bring him on.
The biggest.
They had to bring him on for this.
Yeah.
All right, so guys, overall thoughts. We'll start with Ryan because he's the guy that doesn't like the movie.
Thanks for putting me on the spot, but there's a few things I really like about this movie. I mean, the main fight, of course, is done extremely well. Zack Snyder knows what he's doing when it comes to direction of action, and I mean, that shows really in Man of Steel a lot of what he can do in this movie, and that shines through.
Yeah.
Choreography and the stunts and stuff is great.
It's terrific. It's an action masterpiece for the action. Because
a lot of people in Man of Steel, they love the visuals, but not necessarily the movie. I personally love Man of Steel and think it's a masterpiece, but like with this one's not so much. I don't love it, but I like it a lot. And I think Kolyn feels the same way, that he likes it too. What are your thoughts, Kolyn?
On Man of Steel or just
on Batman v Superman?
Yeah, like just
as far as me being a big comic book fan, I mean, as they said, I'm big into the mythology. I'm about as big of a Batman fan as you could possibly get.
Hence the shirt.
Yeah. I mean, but as far as, my favorite era of Batman, as far as the comics go, is the 80s and 70s. Anything from Neil Adams to Frank Miller to Brian Boland and all of them. Just seeing the look of Batman and how he acted, and the mannerisms and all the lines from the comics. Like, there's a ton of lines from The Dark Knight Returns. Any of you guys out there that have read The Dark Knight Returns, this is straight up that Batman. He's damaged. He's broken. This Batman, I'm not going to go into spoilers here, but this Batman, this may turn some of you off. If you're like me, because I really hold Batman really close to the chest when it comes to a lot of things of how he should act and things. But if you're willing to let go of that, you can enjoy this. Enjoy this portrayal of Batman, because that opening. Yeah,
because every fighting or sequence with Bruce Wayne or Batman at all, I enjoyed very thoroughly.
Even though I personally didn't overall love the film, the character of Batman is probably the best part, if not the best part of this movie. And the from the trailers, that fight with him in that room with all the guys. That was straight
up Arkham Batman.
Exactly.
It was an amazing sequence.
That was straight up Arkham Batman.
It's like the fighting, everything was good. The visuals was good. I personally love this story. Like Ryan was saying, the script, it looks really good on paper.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was portrayed really well. I do agree that some of the pacing at the beginning was a little off. Like, it was kind of just switching between different scenes randomly, and I didn't really understand the concept of what they're going for. But the build up is really well. But what I have to say about this movie that I don't agree with is, I personally don't like that it was called Batman v Superman, because to me I felt way more, and not to go into any spoilers, but I felt like I was watching a Justice League movie more than I was Dawn of Justice, it's called. And I think that title would have been fine, but like Kolyn said, though, it's more about, it's not really about the fight. And it definitely wasn't. It wasn't about the fight that much.
To add to that, what I was saying, he said what I said earlier was, it's not just about, everybody was, all the advertisements and all the fans, myself included, was looking forward to them going fisticuffs. Yeah. That's what everybody was expecting.
Yeah, so they marketed it that way.
But in my opinion, the fight, the whole term Batman v Superman was more than just them fighting physically. Yeah. It was their ideals clashing. That was the whole point. That their ideals on the way justice should be served is very different, even though they're going about it. Even though they go about it different ways, their outcome is really to be the same thing. Yeah. And the whole point of the movie, in my opinion, at least the Batman v Superman part of it, was their ideals clashing, and they clash, and they clash, and then eventually, at the top of the movie, that's when the actual fight happens.
Yes.
But that's where the movie, in my opinion, fell a little flat, because if they would have cut a little bit out of it as far as all the Justice League stuff, maybe have a little tease at the end about the Justice League, and then just focused more tightly on the whole Batman and Superman and their ideals clashing, I feel the movie, in my opinion, would have been a lot better executed.
I mean, I feel like it did a pretty good job to me of like really focusing on Superman and Batman. I think it did pretty well, because at least it wasn't like, oh, more focused on other characters that aren't really like, or whatever. It actually did a pretty good job. Like, but I mean, I don't know. The build-up was really well, and like I said, I told Ryan, I walked out feeling like I saw an experience. I was, like, heavy with all these emotions, and other people don't have that opinion, but, I mean, you know.
I mean, you say that you came out with a big experience, full of emotion and heavy.
Because when there was sadness, I was, I felt the emotion of scenes when it was supposed to be epic or whatever. Like I said, no spoilers, I wish I could, but like, when it was a big moment, I felt that. I don't know if Colin felt the same way. Like, all the emotional,
You could definitely feel, like, because we've been praising Batman, and I'll straight up tell you, and no offense to the fans out there that love him, no offense to you guys at all, but, like, I'm not a Superman fan. I'm absolutely, positively not a Superman fan. But in this movie, I feel like they actually humanize Superman a little bit, because in this movie, his biggest struggle is he's trying to save people and trying to do good by the world, but yet the world shuns him for it, and they're afraid of him, and they fear him. And all he wants to do, he's not hurting anybody. All he wants to do is save people. But yet he goes home at night and he's thinking, am I doing any good?
Yeah, you could tell in the movie he's struggling. When he sees, like, people hating on Superman on the news and stuff, he's struggling. Like, he hates, that's what he's made out to be, as an enemy, when he's actually just been saving everybody.
Which, that's one of the few positives I could say about the movie. Just
they brought Superman to a realistic tone.
In addition to that,
I mean, stuff in the universe, but it's realistic.
You finally got to see Superman, at least for a little bit, be Superman. Just be who he is. I mean, it's good in that sense, like, but that's very little of it.
That feeds back into my original point, which was, if they'd focused just on Batman and Superman and kept all the other stuff to a little bit of a back seat, I think the movie would have been better balanced.
Yeah, it definitely had some sloppy areas.
It's a very unbalanced movie. Like, with you guys, you said, like, or especially you, Trav, you said, hey, this is like an experience that you like.
At least for my first viewing. If I saw it again, I might not feel that way. Like, it just was so much to take in, but I enjoyed every scene, every minute, because I was wanting, to introduce this new Bruce Wayne. We got it the way I wanted it to be. I wanted to see more of Superman. I got more of Superman, and Wonder Woman is fantastic in this movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I liked Wonder Woman.
Her big screen debut, finally after 70 years of not being in a live action film. I mean, if you don't count the TV series, I mean, her actually being on film and kicking ass.
Yeah,
and doing a great job.
Because at the end, I'm not giving anything away, but it's obviously in the trailers. You see the Trinity on screen,
and that was something to behold. That was something to behold.
I'm not like a big DC fan. I'm not as big as a DC fanboy as you are, but I was fanboying when I saw the ending. I was fanboying out. I was freaking out. I loved that. Yeah. So, the ending is what made me be like, this is really cool, and I really like this movie. I can't put the love stamp on it because of its problems, but I really enjoy it.
I can't put the hate stamp on it either. Like, I mean, I may not love it overall. I cannot put the hate stamp on it at all, because it's not all bad. It's some of it is really amazing, epic, awesome material. And the story is great.
I just feel like the greatness was lost in this script somewhere. There's greatness. There's greatness in there, but it's buried.
There's a lot of good things about this movie, but then there's things to hate as well.
Like how I put it. There's about 10% that is really extremely well done. About 10% of it, and then another 10% is really okay. It's great concepts, great ideas. But the rest of it, I just feel like it was more like a clumsy script trying to come to life.
Yeah, he crammed. I feel like he crammed. Not going into any spoilers or anything, but for you comic book fans out there, It feels like he took three. Zack Snyder, bless his heart. I feel like
he's a really cool guy.
I feel like he took three comic books. He took The Dark Knight Returns, and he took a Justice League, and I'm not going to tell you what the other one is because that leads into a spoiler. Yeah. But he took all those comics and basically took all the best elements from those and tried to jam them all together, and basically trying to compete with Marvel, which I can understand from a marketing and money standpoint having to compete with Marvel, but they didn't take their time. They tried to it's like shoving stuff into a closet, and they tried to shove it in there, and they couldn't fit it all in. So
yeah, well, what I told these guys at lunch today was that rather people love this movie or hate it, and this is the only point I can really make at the end of this video, is that the DC Universe is launched, the movie cinematic universe is launched, and we're going to get a Batman solo film, a Wonder Woman movie, and Justice League. So rather that is Zack Snyder doing Justice League again or whatever, WB will make those decisions. I kind of want him to continue his vision, but I mean, I can understand other people's opinion on that, and I wouldn't mind seeing like someone else's view on that to see what they can do. Ben Affleck doing Batman, that'll be, I hope he directs the movie just to give him a chance to direct his own Batman movie, because he's a huge fan and he's got to be Batman. So the only reason it was even Daredevil is because he couldn't be Batman at the time. So the DC Universe is happening, whether people hate this movie or not. People are probably like wanting it to stop here, but it's like, it's happening, guys. It's going to keep going, and starting with Kolyn, what do you give it out of 10?
I think as a comic book fan, if you're like me and you're a hardcore DC fan and you read the comics and you read the lore, seeing all the winks and nods and lines will definitely put a smile on your face, and especially if you're a big Batman fan, Ben Affleck, my hat's off to you, man. You did a fantastic job as Batman. You really did. Yeah, you did a great job. And all the naysayers out there that said he was gonna suck and all that,
and no one's complaining about him.
Yeah, and no one's complaining about him, and he did a fantastic job. Yeah. So I mean, but as far as score, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give it a maybe 7.5, because just the overall tone of the movie and the way Batman was portrayed and the whole fight between both of them, as far as mentally and physically, I enjoyed it. Yeah, the movie had its flaws, but I'm gonna still buy it. Honestly.
What do you think, man?
Okay, I'll try to put this together. I mean, if my percentages earlier, like the 20%, that's really good. It's really good. It's worth seeing the movie. This movie is worth seeing, but I mean,
to get your own perspective and opinion, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, but my problem is that the problems, for me personally, just stand much taller than the positives, and I do not like feeling like that about a movie, any movie at all. But this just happens to be one of those movies that's like that, and I mean, if I were to give my opinion on what would I like to see, like a Justice movie or Justice League movie or whatever, like continuing on this path. I wouldn't really want to see it. Like, I'll be honest. I mean, it's just a clumsy script trying to meet with all this stuff that to me, I'm just kind of worried. I mean, of course I'll see it. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll be great this time around. But just for me, I just didn't think it was that good. But there are some elements that do make it worth seeing.
Yeah.
Especially, the character of Batman, Ben Affleck, was amazing, and I was blown away. Like, I was like, yes, this part of it is awesome. But I'll try to be nice here. I mean, I'm among fans of this movie.
I mean, we'll give your honest opinion.
No, yeah. I mean, rating wise, I'm gonna have to give it just like a 4, maybe a 4.5 out of 10.
Well, for me, the positives definitely outweigh the negatives. I walked out really enjoying myself. I felt like the pacing was a little sloppy in some areas, but like this movie is like 2.5 hours long, and I felt that length.
And we're getting an extended cut.
But I could have watched another 30 minutes. I would have been fine. And so, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead. Batman v Superman is getting an 8 out of 10 for me. That's like right up there. I feel like it deserves to be seen, and people that are really big fans of it, go see it again, support it. They let it make money so that they can, make other, movies. But, yeah, I really enjoyed myself, and will I feel the same way again? That'll be the mystery, because like I might notice more problems or I might like it more. It's just one of those movies where it's 50-50, and people that argue that they hate it you're just never gonna agree with the people that like it, because it's rather you love it or you hate it. It's one of those movies.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. This was our
No spoiler, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Yeah.
So definitely go see it if you haven't. We saw it second weekend. We're really late on this review, but we're going to try to do a spoiler talk review, because there's a lot of details about this movie and we want to go into that we can't really necessarily with no spoilers, and the reasons that it's good or bad are spoilers. So it's like big details. So we'll definitely get you a spoiler talk review of this. But yeah,